Let's turn back to news from this country, where landlords say government policies are forcing them out of the housing market. Will Bain can take us through that, Will?
Yeah, that's right, Michelle. Yeah, this is research that Yorkshire Building Society have done, claiming nearly 60% of landlords feel they've been forced out, which means, of course, less supply for renters. Ben Merritt, Director of Mortgages at Yorkshire Building Society, is with us. Morning, Ben.
Yeah, good morning.
There's a lot in this for both mortgages and renters, but take that first element. Why are landlords telling you this, do you think? What was borne out in your data?
Yeah, thank you. What we're seeing at the moment is it's a really difficult time for both residential borrowers and landlords. We know that interest rates have been increasing, 2 to 3 times what they were just a few years ago. And the abolition of being able to offset your mortgage interest against expenses means that many landlords now are actually losing money on their properties. Now, the big challenge with this is more so the availability of appropriate rental properties available for those that can't buy a property. And we know that with, 60% of people are feeling that they're being pushed out of that sector. We know that the potential is going to be an implication for longer term available housing for renters in the future.
So when you're talking about government policies that you want to see change, what do you want to see change?
I think the key thing here is that we get the right people around the table to start talking about what the challenges that people are facing. The survey that we've commissioned is not just about landlords, but we've surveyed first-time buyers and property owners as well. And we're coming off the back of 15 years of ultra-low interest rates, and many of them have not had experience of being in an environment like this. So if we can get government, regulators, lenders, house builders and charities around the table, we can start to work through solutions that kind of support the economy over the longer term.
Yeah, that did stand out in your data. A lot of people, both renters and first-time buyers and people looking to remortgage, all saying they thought the housing market was unfair.
Yeah, well, I think, as I said, many people have not been in a high interest rate environment before, and many of them are having to make compromises that they've not made. Many not going on holidays, not buying luxury purchases, but particularly for first-time buyers, we're seeing them having to buy properties that maybe not fit for purpose because they can't afford to buy the bigger houses that we were once aspiring for.
You talk about what the government perhaps could do. Couldn't you, as an industry, wouldn't the simplest thing to be to offer better mortgage rates, better terms?
We'd love to be able to do that, but the challenge is, ultimately we are dictated by the money markets, and we know that the government are trying to tackle high inflation. That's pushed up Bank of England base rate, and ultimately that's impacted on lenders' funding costs. Now, as those rates come down, lenders do pass those back on to borrowers, but we're still in a position where rates are 2 to 3 times higher.
If we see a pause again, say, later on this week, you think that there will be more attractive mortgages coming onto the market, that you might be offering them at Yorkshire?
I think what you have to remember is that the market's already priced that in. We're already expecting the bank rate to remain static. I think the bigger thing that people are looking at the moment is the rate at which inflation responds and starts to reduce. Now, if the rate of inflation reduction increases, that will then drive reductions in funding costs. But what we're already seeing is that almost immediately when that happens, lenders are passing on those rate reductions to lenders. There's 2 reasons. One, obviously that's the cost of funds, but the mortgage market's materially smaller. So lenders are pushing harder to try and effectively take a bigger market share in what is a smaller market.
Ben, thanks very much for your time. Ben Merritt, Director of Mortgages at Yorkshire Building Society.
Well, thank you.